Welcome to a weekend in the life of an unemployed wannabe entrepreneur trying to make it in online business. So as you may know, I recently quit my strategy consulting job with no backup plan, all because I wanted a better life. And I wanted to make this video to show what an average weekend in my life looks like, what I get up to, what I do, and a few little bits and bobs around the side as well. So normally I'm up at 7 on a Saturday morning and I'll get my exercise done and then get straight into work. But this morning's a little different. One of my friends has invited me to go to the park run with them. So I'm off to go and do a park run, have a coffee, and I'll probably end up doing a bit of a longer run from that. So a bit of a slower Saturday morning. But yeah, so I've kind of shifted everything in my day back. So I'll be eating lunch later. We'll come back from the run, get my head down, do some work, and then eat some lunch. So without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so park run done. Genuinely, I hated running. I found it so hard, and I got to the point where I just consistently kept pushing at it. Like, it took me a year, so like literally 12 months ago, was struggling to run, and now just go and do 15k, including a park run. And that's not a flex. It's basically to say that like what it taught me is that if you just keep at something, you will get good at it. And this is what I've seen with my content is like I was awful at the start of making content, like so bad. And I've got to the point where I'm now making good content, like I'm starting to get a bit more views. People are starting to really like appreciate that I'm getting better at it. And that's what running taught me. And it gives me the mindset, the same mindset for entrepreneurship, that I'm now like, if I just stick at entrepreneurship, if I stick at content creation for the next 12 months, I have no doubt that I will be so much better in 12 months than I will be now. Bit of a different morning this morning. Would normally be running straight away, but thought like so nice to have a coffee and go and like chill with one of my friends. So we'll get back to work now. Saturday, what have we got planned? We've got to edit 3 videos, planning a later lunch at 2. Then I've got a few calls, a few like things to record for the school community that I'm building, then evening dinner with the parents. So looking forward to that. So one of the new things that I've implemented in my routine is this walk after lunch. It's been so good. Firstly, because it helps me digest the food and gets rid of that like foggy feeling that I used to get in the afternoon. And that's scientifically true. I read a study that basically says like when you're walking helps you digest quicker. So that's been great. But the thing that I really benefit from is I don't take my phone and I just use it as a time to think. And I was actually reading this book called The Creative Act. And it's all about how you need to give yourself, it all is about how you give yourself space to come up with creative thoughts. And this has been so good for like coming up with video ideas, because I'll literally walk around, just flashes of exposing my hairline there, like flashes of ideas about certain things will just come into my head. But the book talks about the fact that you need to give yourself space to have those ideas. And I think this applies to anything in business, anything in entrepreneurship, is you need to give yourself space to be able to come up with ideas. If you're constantly going from task to meeting to activity, you don't give yourself any time to actually process thoughts. I found that running helps a lot for this. I found listening to music while walking is also good, but sometimes just giving like a dedicated time in the day to come up with ideas is great. And even if you're working in a 9 to 5, but more specifically, if you're in a kind of creative job or stuff where you need to solve problems and there's difficult things you need to come up with solutions for, having that creative space throughout your day, I found is great. So I'm gonna put my phone away, use some dedicated thinking time, and come up with my video idea for tomorrow. So I'll see you in a bit. So it's 10:46 on a Saturday evening. Feels weird to be here working on a Saturday evening. I think I'm pretty much done for the evening. It was a good day. Let me look at what did we get done today? So we created some videos, finished off my school loom, which was fun to do. So I've built that, and that's basically ready to go now. And yeah, went out for dinner with the parents, which was
great. For the first time, like actually leaving the house in Colchester, Essex, where I live. Probably it's like a kind of suburban town in the UK. Like, was so interesting, the kind of feelings that I was getting while getting out, because I was walking around the town and realising in the nicest way possible that, well, in the nicest way possible to Colchester, you can't build a business here. It's so uninspiring as a place to be as an entrepreneur. Like, it's great to have the stability of my parents' house, and I'm so grateful to have that. But I also know that to be fueled and to be motivated, I have to be surrounded by people killing it. And I think while I was sitting at dinner this evening and while I was walking around Colchester town with my friend, I just realised that I was getting all the emotions of like being back at school and the kind of previous life, and now I want to push for bigger and better things, and it's just an impossible place to do that where I am right now. Okay, so it is 7 a.m. on Sunday. I wanted to use this morning to talk about what I actually have on my bedside table, because I've spent months and months perfecting like what should be there, what can be most useful, and how it actually serves my day. So over here we have a Kindle. That is like one of the best ROI purchases I've made. The amount of books I get through now, because the effort of like going to like either going on Amazon, like carrying books around, it's amazing. And I have a few books on the go. I dip into old books that I love. It's been an absolute game changer for reading. So, and also a friend told me a thing which is like, you don't go on your phone in bed because it feels like you've got like a device, and that's kind of maybe bad, but like it definitely does work. I have a pen and paper. I was told this is an amazing thing for video creation, and it really does work, because the amount of ideas and even like business ideas that come to me while I'm lying in bed, you know, when you can't get to sleep and all you can think about is annoying things keeping you awake. I found that writing things down helps you get sleep, but also the amount of good ideas that I used to lose by not writing them down. So yeah, pen and paper. I have my clock, so I think it's a Lumi clock, and that's really cool because as you can see, it lights up. And what I do is I set an alarm for 7. It actually starts lighting up at 6:30, and it gets brighter and brighter. And what that means is, instead of being woken up by like a horrible alarm at 7 and like kind of jumping up, it means you wake up slowly, because the light slowly comes in and it slowly like just wakes you up slowly, and that is unreal. Because it means that as opposed to feeling like awful when your alarm wakes you up, the alarm goes at 7 and you're actually like half awake. So it's, yeah, that's really nice. So really rate that clock. We'll put a link in the description actually for that.
Good podcast, Jamie.
Yeah, really good podcast. We got into quite a heated debate at one point, which is always fun, but some really interesting stuff, and yeah, fascinating guy.
We just finished the episode there with Jamie, who's the co-host, and we started that podcast basically because we were having these chats with people in like pubs, in run clubs. And you know when you're speaking to someone, you're like, they say what they do as a career, and you're like, that is so cool, and you want to ask so many more questions. We realised there were those sort of people that existed, and then the sort of people that existed who were like, you know, they were like your lawyers, your bankers, your accountants, and you hear someone say that and they're doing that as their job, and you're like, oh, like, okay, another one sort of thing. And I realised that when you ask the lawyers, bankers, accountants, and the consultants what they're doing, they just sound really bored when they talk about their job. And then you talk to these people who are doing these amazing things, like we meeting charity founders, like musicians, super yacht chefs, all of these randomly cool careers. And they were so passionate about what they were talking about. And we just thought we were having too many of these conversations, like not to try and inspire and bring these conversations to public about the fact that you don't need to go down this like lawyer consultant route. You can actually just make a career off something that you love doing. We've like interviewed some amazing people, like the people I was talking about, and it is really inspiring to have those conversations. And while I was a consultant, I realized that like I want to be one of these people. I want to be one of the people that I'm interviewing on the podcast who someone goes, oh, that's so cool. How did you get into that? Why have you made that your career? Part of it is like money motivation, but mainly it's just like motivation to honestly open my laptop every day and be like, this is fun. And I have that now. Like I do genuinely live my life and I don't feel like I'm working. And that didn't happen when I was consulting. I was waking up almost every day going, I don't want to do this. Okay, so it is 3 minutes to 10 Sunday night. I wanted to film this video to give like an insight into what my weekend actually looks like. It's a different weekend to what things used to look like, and it's actually quite an unsexy, unglamorous life. Being an entrepreneur, like, it is just head down in the books, but I don't think I'd change it. And I think the cool thing about these videos is I want to be able to look back and know that I worked for where I got. I don't know where that's going to be, but I know it's going to be somewhere cool. And I think it's nice to have these videos to look back on and think like, yeah, I wasn't partying up on my weekends. I was actually just working pretty hard. That's not as like a flex. It's just like I was working hard, and I like that. But yeah, interesting how weekends have changed, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Yeah, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. Appreciate your time, and I look forward to catching you in the next one.